our viewers. My name is Joy. My name is Joy from Students Connect Nigeria. With me is Chinelo Konwea, the Regional Manager West Africa for University of Portsmouth, who will be speaking to us on the university amazing offers available to international students. Hello, Chinelo. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi,
Kindly
Joy.
introduce yourself to our viewers.
Right. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So, Joy has already introduced me. My name is Chinelo Konwea, and I work for the University of Portsmouth. I manage recruitment across West Africa, with Nigeria being my biggest market. So, I've got Nigeria, I've got Ghana, Cameroon, the Gambia, Cote d'Ivoire, Senegal, and 9 other countries within West Africa. So essentially, what I do is I'm happy to speak to students who are looking to study in the UK, let them know what courses are available and how they can submit the applications, and working very closely with agents. So within the University of Portsmouth, for example, we work with a number of agents, with one of them being Student Connect. And that's why I'm happy to be here talking to potential students and having Joy too in my midst. So thank you, everyone. Thank you for joining in.
Thank you, Chinelo, for that introduction. This is a 30-minute section followed by a 10 minutes question from our viewers. So let's get to know more about the university. So my first question here is, University of Portsmouth is one of our prestigious partner university situated in the city of Portsmouth, England, home to many international students. I will let Chinelo tell us about the University of Portsmouth, their locations, main campus, and its locations. Over to you, Chinelo.
Right. Okay. So when people ask me why they should be thinking about joining the University of Portsmouth, my answer usually to them is why not? The University of Portsmouth is the only university within the city of Portsmouth. Now, Portsmouth as a city in the UK has about 300,000 in population, with 10% of that population being students. It is also the only university in the city of Portsmouth. And when I say that to students, they don't readily understand why I'm emphasizing on that. And the reason is simple. Being the only university within the city of Portsmouth, it's easy for international students, particularly, to find jobs. When you arrive the University of Portsmouth, when you arrive the city of Portsmouth, you're already within the heart of the university, because a good 10% of the 300,000 population are students. And so it's a student-centric city. Students are able to arrive the city of Portsmouth, arrive their university, and literally hit the ground running. Everything is within a 5 minutes to 10 minutes working distance. So it makes it easy for students to kind of get things going for them as soon as they arrive, right? Another beautiful thing about the city of Portsmouth is where it is located. So, like Joy said, it is in the south coast of the UK. It's an hour 30 minutes max from London. So whilst it's as close as possible to London, it's not an expensive city as compared to London. Another thing about the university is, well, everywhere in the UK is relatively cold, but if you are familiar with the weather and how it works in the UK, when you are situated in the south, it is relatively warmer than the rest of the other parts of the UK. So for us, the shock in terms of the weather isn't as bad as if you were going up north. So I'm not saying it's going to be hot like it is in Nigeria, where it's about 36 or 38, like it is in Ghana sometimes. But at least when it is summer, you can get a good 22 degrees centigrade or 23 degrees centigrade as compared to some other parts of the UK. Another beautiful thing about the university is it's a home to diverse nationalities. So you're definitely going to see a good deal of Nigerians, of Ghanaians. There is actually a huge community, which is called the African Caribbean community, that has Nigerians as members. I think about 2 or 3 years ago, the president was actually a Nigerian. So it's a mix. You're going to see people that look like you, that talk like you. You're going to see people from other nationalities. You're going to build friendships and relationships. So really, what's not to love at the University of Portsmouth?
That's amazing. That's amazing. So the second question is: we all know UK has a lot of universities, and all of them are unique in one way or the other. Can you tell us the unique selling points of University of Portsmouth?
Okay, so thank you for the question. Now, within the University of Portsmouth, we've got 5 faculties, and those 5 faculties are home to over 300 courses that are divided into undergraduate and postgraduate programs. Um, Consistently, since the inception of the Teaching Excellence Framework Award, we have got gold. Now, that is a testament to the outstanding teaching and delivery of our courses within these 5 faculties. We also have academics as well as people who are already employed on the job coming around to teach. So you're not being taught as a student, you're taught to be industry ready when you have then completed your course. Some of these course programs are unique to us. So within the Faculty of Science, for example, we've got a really great school which has the School of um, Geography and Geology, and that's where you've got the GIS courses, environmental contamination, geological contamination, and these are courses that make students who study them in demand because these are courses that deal with the environment, and there is a huge deficit of experts in that field. And then within the field of technology, we've got courses in engineering, courses that have to do with water engineering, unique courses like renewable energy. All of those courses can be found within the Faculty of Technology. And then down to business, we've got courses in business and management, project management, courses in business communication for international leadership. All these courses are accredited by the bodies relevant in the UK. Now, it's important that when students are deciding what they want to study, which institution they want to go to, that when you are doing your checks, ensure that the courses are not just taught at the university, but they are also accredited to be delivered by your institution. Because what that does for you in the long term is that when you have then completed your program and you're looking to get a job, if those courses are not accredited by the relevant bodies, you will struggle. So, for example, if you were looking to do architecture, you have to be very clear to understand whether the university you are looking to study architecture in the UK is RIBA certified. So RIBA stands for the Royal Institute of British Architects. If your institution does not have the license to, it's not certified by that body, it then means that when you have completed your program, you cannot practice as an architect. And so there are quite a number of these courses within these 5 faculties that we have accreditations for you to actually study those programs. And so they include courses in social work, they include courses in psychology, in criminology. All of these courses are accredited by the relevant bodies, and therefore it makes it not just a course that you will enjoy when you're studying, but also makes you industry ready when you have completed the program. Like most of our undergraduate courses, there is work placement embedded in them. So at the end of your 4-year study, because you have then incorporated the work placement, you are not just arming yourself with a degree, but you also have work experience that will transfer to when you are job searching. Another beautiful thing about the university is that we've got a careers and employability team, and it's not just some organization that just has a name and it's not doing much. They do quite a number of things for students, particularly international students. They assist them to get not just paid jobs when they have completed the program, but also the 20-hour work jobs that international students would like to do for a good number of reasons. They also ensure that undergraduate students who have incorporated work placement in their study get jobs relevant to what they're studying. They don't just help you find these jobs. They make you ready for interviews. So they tweak your CVs, they do job fairs, they do trainings, and these particular access to these professional individuals is available to students even after they have graduated 5 years on. And so students who have left the university can still reach out to them and still get all the support as though they were still students of the institution. So I could go on, but these are some of the reasons why you really should consider studying at the University of Portsmouth.
Yes, thank you, Chinelo. Gold in Teaching Excellence Award,
Yeah,
industry ready after your course of study,
exactly.
accredited courses. That's amazing. That's amazing. So the next question here is, what are the general and English requirements for University of Portsmouth? The general and English requirements for University of
Yeah.
Portsmouth.
I'm glad you asked that question because I often get students saying, "Do you accept WAEC?" And then I say, "Yes, we do." So, does it have an expiration date? And that leaves me wondering, at what point did we start to put an expiration date on certificates? So we don't have that. As long as your certificate can be verified and authenticated via the body website. So, for example, if you're providing us with a WIAC result or a NECO result, as long as we can verify and authenticate that result using the scratch card details that you will provide, we're happy to remove that condition. So, what often happens is when students ask me, am I able to use my WIAC for or my NECO as an English language evidence, and I go right ahead and say yes, and they go ahead and apply and they're made an offer and the English language condition is still on their offer, it is simply because the admissions team are waiting for you to provide them with scratch card details they can then use to verify and authenticate the result. So once you're able to provide that and they do their checks and they see that it's your name there and your results are one and the same, they'll be happy to remove that condition. And we also accept NAPTEP. So I guess students asking if we accept that. Yes, we do. We do that as long as we're able to verify and authenticate it. And I'm happy to say there is a website to verify your NAPTEP results. So once we're able to verify your English language, then we're happy to remove that condition. Now, having said that, I see some students say, but I've provided my certificates. What then? Why do you still need WIAC result? I mean, scratch card details to verify? Well, I will say I have seen WIAC results that looked like it was the real deal, but when we checked, it wasn't. So just for us to be absolutely sure, because you have to also understand that in removing that English language proficiency, we are saying to the UKVI that we have done our checks and we can authoritatively say that this student has met the English language requirement. So you have to understand that we have to be doubly sure that this is exactly the case, because that's what is going to reflect on your CAS statement, which is the document you need for a visa application. So allow us to do those checks. Provide us with the certificate, give us the scratch card details. Once all is good to go, we're happy to remove the condition. So yes, we accept WIAC. Yes, we accept NECO. We accept IGCSE. We accept NAPTEP. In fact, if you are a recent graduate and you can, I mean, when I say recent, 2 years or less, you can actually provide us with an English proficiency letter and we'll be happy to waive that condition. I'm also quick to say, I know it's offensive when they say Nigerians should provide a document to show that they communicate in English, because English is our lingua franca, right? But I mean, it's just documentation. So please provide as asked and we will be happy to remove the condition.
That's fine. Thank you very much. The next question is, tell us a bit more about your popular courses and what the application process is like the
Okay.
typical popular
Yeah.
courses.
Okay. So right now we are done and dusted with the September courses, September intake. And so we're now actively accepting applications for the January intake. Now, in comparison with the September intake window, we have more courses in September than we would in January. But what we have done within the institution is to ensure that there are courses within our 5 faculties that you are able to apply for in January. So we've got courses within the Faculty of Science, courses in technology, we've got courses in business and law. We've got courses in science and health. So yeah, we have courses in architecture, business and management, project management, environmental geology, biotechnology, medical biotechnology, engineering courses, courses in education, courses in humanities. So these courses are available for you to apply for the January window. Now, for the January window, for most of our courses, if not all of them, it will not run for 12 months. It would run for 16 months. And that is because of the way the course delivery is designed. It comes at no extra cost. So whilst you might have a friend or a family member doing the same course you're hoping to do in January and completing theirs in 12 months because they started off in September, your course delivery and teaching will not be completed until after 16 months if you are opting for the January start. And that's simply because of the way the course is structured and the course delivery is taking place. Now, if you are looking to apply, it's important that you have your degree certificates and transcripts. And I cannot emphasize this enough. I get students who say, I'm ready to apply, but I don't have my certificates and I don't have my transcripts. Can I just apply and be made a conditional offer? Unfortunately, no. In fact, we can attempt to make you an offer with your transcripts, but not without your transcript. So I'll take that again. If you've got your degree certificate but you have not got your transcript, we will struggle to make you an offer, because what usually happens is that the admissions team would like to see what courses you were taught and what grades you achieved in order to make an informed decision as to whether they're happy to take you onto the course you've applied for. So if you have the student copy of your transcript and an actual degree certificate, that's absolutely fine, because I know how difficult it can be to get transcripts. So if you've got your actual official degree certificate and a student copy of your transcripts, we're happy to progress with your offer, and we will not request you to provide us with your official transcript if you don't have it already, because we already have one of your certificates as an original. So, and it goes the other way around too. So if you've got your statement of result or notification of result, an official transcript, we're happy to progress with your offer. So that is that in terms of your degree certificates. If you are doing a master's degree course, we require 2 reference letters from you. These 2 reference letters can either be professional or academic. Now, if you have recently graduated, 5 years or less, we would appreciate that one out of those 2 references be academic. The other can be professional. I get students saying, but I'm not working. How do I get a professional reference? Well, you don't have to be working to get a professional reference. You can get that from your church, from your mosque, from any society you're a part of, and even somewhere you did your internship. It's a character reference. They just want to speak to your about your personality. So it doesn't have to be within the 4 walls of your employment. So we will need 1 academic, 1 professional if you have recently graduated within the last 5 years. If you have graduated 5 years or older, we know how difficult it might be to get an official certificate. I can't imagine going back to my school, having graduated over 20 years ago, asking for an academic reference. So there might be some struggle there. So we're happy to accept 2 professional references, right? Now that's that for references. We will then need you to provide us with an evidence of proficiency in English, which I have explained previously. And then we would also need you to write a personal statement. So some people call it a personal statement. Some people call it a statement of purpose. It's one and the same thing. And then I think that's about it. Yes. So oh yeah, one last thing. If you have work experience and you know that the work experience, if put in a CV, would help your application, then by all means provide your CV. So once you have these documents, You just go to the portal and submit your application, or preferably submit through an agency. In this case, Student Connect will be happy to provide you with that support you need in submitting your application. But not just submitting your application, if you're now progressing on to actually applying for your visa, Student Connect will be happy to assist you with that as well, because we are more interested in you not just being made an offer, but ensuring that you also have all that it takes to get a successful visa application. So I hope I've answered the question. I think I
Yes,
just
yes,
went
you
on and
have.
on. Yeah, okay.
Just as Chinelo has said, Students Connect, we are very much ready to start applying for you. You can start sending in your application for January intake. January intake application is ongoing. We'll be glad to help you through the process without stress. And the good thing about it is that our service is free. So we'll be glad to help you to through the process. You can reach out to us via any of our social media platform. You can send us an email or contact us through the phone number displayed below. So thank you, Chinelo, for the approval. So I'll be moving to the next question now. Most students will like to know the employability rates after they graduate. Can you tell us the employability options available to students?
Okay, so initially, when there was the absence of the post-study work route, which some people call the GIR, graduate immigration route, students were particular about doing courses that had work placements incorporated in them. Because after all, how do you then practice what you have been taught in the classroom? Um, we do have a few courses that have got work placements incorporated in them, especially within our Faculty of Humanities and our Faculty of Technology. For some other courses, we don't have work placements. However, because you now have the post-study work route, which is the graduate immigration route that allows you remain after 2 years, there is the opportunity and the time to get this work placement and get this work experience that you are looking for. And that's another reason why you should consider the University of Portsmouth. Now, within the UK in general terms, some locations are more favorable in terms of job proximity and availability. And the south of the UK is where those jobs are. And fortunately, Portsmouth is in the south. So when students are not just students are considering where they want to study, more than that, you should be considering also where you would eventually find work. And that's something that Portsmouth as a city offers international students. And so I also mentioned whilst introducing the university about our careers and employability team. Now, when COVID happened, the team were not able to conduct job fairs, physical job fairs. So a lot of the fairs were done virtually. And there is really nothing like a face to face. So with COVID now out of the way, they now have physical job fairs. And these job fairs are advertised to students. Students come around, employers come around, and you're able to have a one on one with employers. The careers and employability team at the University of Portsmouth are so engaging and so well informed in this particular grand scheme of things. And so that makes it easy for students to then know how to apply for the jobs, know where to look, know what employers ask for. Because truth is, the process of job searching as we know it and understand it in West Africa is completely different from what applies in the UK. So these group of people that make up this team assist you in doing up your CV, how to write a cover letter, how to comport yourself during an interview, where to search for when you're looking for jobs, um, how to answer interview questions, and all of those. And then, more importantly, every now and again, they usually would have job fairs open to students where employers can get to speak to you, interview you, and even give you on the spot job offers. So that's another good thing that you would get while studying at the University of Portsmouth. This will then help you alongside your 2 years post-study work route to have your feet firmly on the ground and know how these job interviews are done, these job searches are done, and how to retain your jobs when you have completed your study.
Thank you for that. I know you've talked about the intakes available, so I would like you to share more lights as regards the deadline for January intake, and also what is the turnaround time to get offer.
Okay, so right now we're accepting applications. We will continue to accept applications until the end of next month. When students ask me what the deadline is, my question to them is deadline for what exactly? Because for me, I'm always very keen for students who are thinking to progress in January to get things started sooner rather than later, because you would have to understand with me that the window is short. So if you're looking at January start, although usually with international students and the University of Portsmouth there is usually extensions in terms of the start date, but even then you don't have a lot of time to do what you need to do if you're not doing what you have to do as soon as you have to do it. So applications will be we would close applications by the end of November. We would expect you to have made a decision by the middle of December. Classes will be starting by the first week of January, at least orientation. I know there will be lots of flexibilities that would accommodate international students still able to register and start off at the end of January. But like I always say, there are lots of hurdles to cross as an international student. So you're made an offer, you fulfill the conditions on the offer, you pay your tuition fees, you have a bank statement that is at least 28 days old, and then you have the waiting period for your visa application. So my simple advice is usually start off as soon as possible. There really isn't a lot of time, especially if you're absolutely keen to progress in this January. It's important that you start off the application process. Now, as to the turnaround time, we have a 5 to 10 working day turnaround time. It could be less, especially for a number of courses. Some courses, decisions can be made based on the documentation you upload. A few other courses, an admissions tutor would have to take a proper look at it and make an informed decision. So usually within 3 to 10 working days max, you should have heard back from your application. But that doesn't extend to postgraduate research, PhD applications, because that on its own has its own duration, considering how the application is done in the first place. But for undergraduate and postgraduate taught programs, a 3 to 10 working days, I'm not sure you will get to 10 working days, you get a decision on your application.
Okay, thank you for that. Kindly drop your questions in the comment box. Oh, the next question. This question is very important as it's one of the popular questions we get from students. It's about the scholarship. Is there any scholarship available and what are the requirements?
Right. So we've got 4 scholarship opportunities. I'd rather call them discounts because when you say scholarship, students tend to think it's 100%. So discount sounds more like it. So we've got an automatic discount available to all students, and that discount is valued at £1,600. The student does not have to do anything to qualify for it. It's automatic. So once you have made your application and you have been made an offer, you will get that discount, and it should typically reflect on your offer letter. In the absence of it, not reflecting on your offer letter is nothing to concern yourself about. It will reflect on your CAS statement. So that's the first discount we give. There is a January 2024 scholarship available to certain courses for January. And those courses are international business and management, project management, medical biotechnology, and biotechnology. These 4 courses, once you have been made an offer for them, you get a £3,000 automatic discount. You don't have to do anything to qualify for the discount. It's a discount specifically for those four courses. So I'll take those four courses again: international business and management, project management, medical biotechnology, and biotechnology. And then another discount we give is the Chancellor's Global Merit Academic Scholarship. That scholarship is not automatic. You will need to apply for it. And the criteria for applying is a minimum of a second class upper. So when you have submitted your application, you will then go to the scholarship page and complete a short Google form. It's just a very short form, so that you can input your details. The scholarship panel actually sits for that scholarship and then makes a decision as to whether you have got the scholarship or not. It's valued at £3,000. And then there's another scholarship which is within a faculty. So there is a faculty of science and health. Now, within that faculty of science and health, there is a school, which is a school of environment, geography, and geology. That's the school where you've got quite a number of environment, geography, and geology related courses like GIS, coastal and marine resource management, geological contamination, and those courses relating to that particular subject area. That scholarship is worth 50% of your tuition fees. And it is not automatic, so you need to apply for it. But should you get it, it takes out a big chunk of your tuition fees, up to 50%. And then finally, of course, there is the alumni discount. So if you've done a course program with us before at the University of Portsmouth, and this applies not just to our on-campus courses, but even our distance learning courses, and you have completed one course program and you're looking to complete another one, you get a 20% tuition fee discount on your course program. So that's the alumni discount. And these five scholarships are what we offer within these five discounts are what we offer within the University of Portsmouth.
Wow, that's amazing. Amazing discount scholarship. Guys, this is the right time to start sending in your application for January intake. Don't miss out on this scholarship opportunity. Thank you, Chinelo, for that detailed explanation.
You're
My
welcome.
next question, which is the final question here, is so tell us more about the CAS and visa requirements. How is the visa CAS and the visa requirement process is?
Okay, um, so I'll backtrack and start from the very beginning. So once you have submitted your application and you have met the entry requirements and you've been made an offer, it usually will come with a condition. So you are expected to fulfill the conditions on that offer. And part of the condition is the completion of what we call an eligibility questionnaire, Student Route Eligibility Questionnaire, SREQ. So that's where you will input your passport details and questions on whether you've got a visa refusal and stuff like that. They just want to know all of your um, visa information, right? So once the relevant team within the university looks through those conditions and all is good to go, we will then make your offer unconditional. So when your offer has been made unconditional, you will get another offer letter that says, congratulations, your place at the university has now been confirmed. Once you receive that, within the next 48 to 72 hours, you should get your CAS, all things being equal. So when students get that, they reach out to me to say, I've got this, what's the next thing? Nothing. You just sit and wait and this CAS will come to you, because by the time they have given you that unconditional offer letter, they have concluded on all their checks and they're now happy to proceed with your admission. So once you get your unconditional offer letter, 48 to 72 hours later, you will get your CAS. We do not do pre-CAS interviews. And this is because we have trusted agency partners, which we believe will do all the checks to ensure that the students are ready for their visa application. Now, once you have got that CAS statement, it is your responsibility as the student, not the agent. Because I get students who say, oh, but my agent did this. It's your responsibility to go through the CAS statement, ensure that the details there are yours. There is no mistake on your passport number. There is no mistake on the spelling of your name. There is no mistake on your institutions. And there is no mistake on the tuition fees as it reflects on your CAS. There is no mistake on the deposit you have paid. It is your responsibility to go through that document. And if there are any mistakes, even the slightest one, that CAS statement actually says you can then forward whatever error that you think you've seen to the CAS corrections team, and they will have a look and amend the CAS. So once you have got all of that and it's good to go, no mistakes, no amendments, then we're ready to submit our application. So we don't do precast interviews. However, if you have got a visa refusal, we would expect that you would have put that information whilst you were completing the student route eligibility questionnaire, because it's the appropriate thing to do. The team at the university will then do the checks to determine the reason for the refusal. And if it's a refusal they can live with, they will proceed. If not, they might ask you for additional information before making an informed decision. But once they make that decision and it's favorable, then you should get your CAS shortly after your offer has been made unconditional. Otherwise, they will just let you know that they're not going to be able to proceed with your admission process. That's assuming they've done their checks and there is a question mark somewhere.
Thank you, Chinelo. Thank you very much. We have now come to the end of the question, and shortly we'll be taking the questions. Kindly drop your questions if you have any questions, clarification, or you want more information. You can drop it in the comment section. Students Connect is an approved and trusted partner of University of Portsmouth. Our services are free, just as I've said earlier on. You can start sending in your application for January intake. So the first question here is, are there top-up program available at University of Portsmouth for HND holders?
That's a very good question. I was hoping that at some point I'll get an opportunity to talk about it. So I'm happy this person has asked this question. So what we do not offer. So I'll start off with what we do not offer, and then I'll go on to what we offer. What we do not offer HND students, except if it's a business related course and they have work experience, is a direct master's. So if you've got an HND and your HND is within a business related course, we will be happy to offer you the pre-master's route, but that is essentially and only for business related courses. For other courses, what we would offer is what we call a credit entry top up. So what that does is that it's giving you the opportunity to essentially convert your HND to a bachelor's. So if, for example, your first degree was in accounting, you have an HND in accounting, we will be happy to consider you for an accounting related course for 1 year. Sometimes it can be for 2 years, and I'll tell you why. So when you're submitting these kinds of applications, I usually will tell students, make sure that you have a very good personal statement. Make sure that you have your OND and your HND degree certificate and transcripts. Make sure that you have a CV to show that you've been busy after you completed your HND, especially if you completed it a few years ago. If you haven't, then it's understandable. If you also have international certifications or certifications that you have done, so maybe certifications whilst on the job, certifications like the ICANN or this one they call, not sure what name it is now, but it's an accounting body that does it. If you have that as well, make sure that you upload all of that when you are submitting your application. Because at the end of the day, the admissions team will not get a chance to speak with you. They will make the decision based on what you put in front of them. Now, to the very most important part of your application, make sure that when you are submitting the application, either by yourself or through an agency like Student Connect, for example, that at the year of entry include year 3. So some students have gone ahead to shoot themselves on the foot by submitting those applications and putting year of entry as year one. I mean, you already have an HND, so why would you want a year one? Year one says, I mean, implies that you want to start from scratch. And because it's a request you're making, they will honor your request. So you see some students say, I don't know, I had an HND and they're offering me year one. But when you really go to the application portal, you see they themselves put the year one by themselves when they were making the request for their offer to be looked at. So please, your year of entry should be year three. Worst case scenario, the admissions team looks at it and they're not very impressed and say, look, I don't think you'll be able to function or do well if we put you in year three, because we have then compared what you studied with what we deliver and there is a gap there. But in a case where they're happy with what they have seen and they think that you'll be able to cope effectively, then they'll make you an offer for year three. So you end up spending 1 year and essentially converting your HND to a bachelor's. In some circumstances, they give you year two, so you end up spending 2 years and then you convert your HND to a bachelor's. But the key things to note is that you cannot, for example, have an HND in business and you're now looking to do a bachelor's in architecture. There is no relationship whatsoever. It has to be in a relevant subject area, right? Okay.
Thank you for that. The next question is, please, about the accommodation. I think the person wants a detailed clarification as regards the accommodation process.
Okay, I'll come to that question shortly. But just before this question came, another question scrolled past, and it was a question about the PTDF. Someone was saying, can they use their PTDF sponsorship letter to apply to the
That's the
university?
question.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I've seen that. Yeah, so the question scrolled past. So let me just clarify that. Yes, you can. We are one of partner universities approved by the PTDF. We have a memorandum of understanding with the PTDF and we work very closely with them. So if you have a PTDF sponsorship or scholarship, we're happy to consider you when you have submitted your application and you have met the entry requirements. So once you have met the entry requirements, fulfilled all the conditions, and provide us with the sponsorship letter, we're happy to progress with your offer. So I hope that clarifies the question, Rukaya. Now I'll go over to the question on accommodation. Now, we pride ourselves at the university that international students are guaranteed accommodation. But then there is something about that information that gets students thinking they don't have to do anything to get that accommodation, which is false. As much as we guarantee accommodation for international students, you need to do certain things. So the first thing is, when you have applied to us and you have been made an offer, you need to log into your portal and accept that offer. It is only when you have accepted that offer that it triggers to the accommodations team and they then start to send you information on accommodation. So you see some students, they have been made an offer, but they haven't accepted it. And it's not because they're not going, they just don't think there's a need to accept it. Let me just go ahead and start fulfilling the conditions. I don't need to accept it. They will know I have accepted it when I start fulfilling the conditions. So we might know at some point, but you have missed out on all the information that would have been passed across to you by the accommodations team if you had accepted the offer as soon as you were made one. So on your offer letter, there is a paragraph there that says reach out to the accommodations team and actually gives you their email address. Now they are responsive. So once you submit your application, you can then, I mean, once you reach out to them via email, they will then start to communicate to you, let you know what accommodations are available, which ones are close to your faculty, how much they cost, because it's a range. And it's this range of fees is determined by what kind of accommodation you want. So are you looking to share the common room, the bathroom? Are you looking to be catered for, or you want to be self-catered? All of these would influence what the accommodation fees will be. But like I always tell students, reach out to the accommodations team and they will give you all the information. And this information is not just bound to accommodation within the university. They are also able to offer your advice and assistance for accommodations outside of the university campus. So when students reach out to me asking questions about accommodation, I simply refer them to the accommodations team because they are the experts and they have all the information, and they'll be happy to share it with you and guide you appropriately.
Thank you. Let's take this question. Do you have Emirates courses and can an Emirates student travel with their dependents?
Okay, so that's a question I do not have an explicit answer to. So MRES, as I understand it, is a combination of 1 year thought and 1 year research. So MRES usually would run for 2 years. Now, there is a lot of information about the lack of dependents not being able to come in January. And to be honest, I think that as we inch closer to that time and going forward after that, we will then start to get more clarity on what is actually acceptable and what is not. So the information we have been passed by um, the UK government is you have to be studying a 3 years minimum course, which is a PhD program. So MRES, as I understand it, is not 3 years. However, I can understand why you might be asking this question because it's not actually a master's, it's a master's and a research. So if your master's and research course is for 3 years and that 3 years is stated on your cast, then sure, you can come with your dependents. But if it's a 2 year course, as I understand it, as the information that has been passed on to my institution by the UK government, we might not advise that you will be able to travel with dependents. But like I said, this is information as we know it and has been passed across to us. I'm sure as the months go by, we'll get more and more clarity. But I will suggest that if that is on the basis for which you are thinking of applying for an MRES, then it might be worth you making further research to be absolutely sure that your dependents can come. Because, I don't have that answer, unfortunately. So I'm sorry, I can't give you any more than I'm giving you now.
That's fine. Let's take this question. Do you offer maritime administration and safety courses?
No. What we have is occupational health and safety courses. We don't have maritime. No. So if you're considering occupation and safety courses, we have that. But that particular course, which is the occupation and health and safety course, is not offered full time. It's offered via distance learning. And so if you are even looking to study that course within the university, it's important you have that information that it is not a full-time on-campus course, it is a distance learning course option program. And we get a lot of students who are in the oil and gas sector, the maritime sector, going for the course, but they already have employment here and they're doing it as a part-time distance learning. We call it the learning at work. So you have to be working to be qualified to run the course in the first place, and it doesn't have the flexibility to accommodate an on-campus study. So it's exclusively distance learning online.
Okay, thank you. This person is asking if hospitality management and tourism studies are the course for those going to into HND level is available, and what are the
Right.
requirements?
Okay, so unfortunately we don't do hospitality management and tourism studies. So there is I cannot therefore advise on how to apply because it's not something we actually do as a course within the University of Portsmouth. We don't offer that course at all.
Okay, those of us that went through College of Education, any hope for us?
Okay, so now if you went through a college of education, I would assume that's what they call the NCA, right? I think that's what they call the
NCE,
NCA, right?
yes.
So if that's what they call the NCA, as I understand it, is equivalent to a year one because the NCE is equated to an OND. That's my understanding of the NCE. Because I remember having a student who did the NCE, and she was offered a year 2 admission at the university. In some rare circumstances, they can actually offer you a year 3, especially if your course is um, a course in education, you've got years of experience, your CV is impressive, and they can see that you have work experience that is relevant. They're happy to offer you a year 3. But most of the people I know, and there are quite a number of them, who have an NCE and are opting to come to the University of Portsmouth will be accepted onto year 2. So essentially, you're just going to be spending 2 years to convert your NCE to a bachelor's degree program.
Hi, hi. Sorry, Chinelo. I think we're experiencing
Yeah,
some network glitch
I
there.
think we lost her.
Uh,
Yeah, it's fine.
yeah, yeah. Sorry about that.
Oh, that's fine.
Thank you very
That's
much.
yeah,
Okay, so sorry about that. We had a network issue here.
yeah, it's fine.
So Chinelo, you were saying something about the College of
Yeah. I
Education.
was saying that it's equivalent to an OND, and so most of the time, students who have that credentials and are applying to us will usually be accepted onto a year 2. I think I've just seen a few circumstances where they're offered the year 3, but that is because they have shown something distinctive in their application. So there must have been something the admissions team saw, maybe something on their CV or something on their personal statement or some additional information they provided. But most of the time, because an NCE is equated to an OND, then which is equivalent to a year 1, the highest offer of admission you can be given will be to start off with a year 2. So you end up doing 2 years and essentially get a bachelor's at the end of the day.
Okay, let's quickly take this question. Please, what is the tuition fee for 1 year master's in human resource management? Is there any scholarship available or some kind of discount on tuition? I know we've discussed about it too.
Yes, we have. The tuition fees for masters in human resource should be about 17,000, a little over 17,000. So with the 1,006, it brings it down to about 16,000. I don't have the specifics, but it should be round about that. So that's the discount we give. It doesn't fall in the category of the 4 courses I mentioned that allows you get a 3,000. So this person will definitely get um, the 1,006, which is automatic. Yes. Um, so did you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. I explained something. I wanted to know if you heard me.
No, no, no. I didn't
Oh
get
yeah,
you.
so I just explained how much it costs. It's a little over 17,000, and they will get the 1,600 tuition discount.
Okay, thank you. Let's take this last question. What is the initial deposit for the January 2024 intake and what is the payment plan?
Okay, so I'm glad this question was asked, and I would break it down as much as possible. So usually we would request you to pay 50% of your tuition fees. Um, yeah, so that's what you're expected to pay. However, we are amenable to accepting £6,000 as your minimum tuition deposit. So if, for example, your tuition fees is £17,000 and half of that is 8,500, that's 50%. We're expected to make that payment in order to meet that tuition fees condition. However, we're flexible enough to allow you pay 6,000, but it's important that you are aware that you should be ready to have paid the 2,500 pounds to make up 8,005, which is the 50% of your tuition fees, in order to commence your program. So to register, to enroll, and to commence your program, you should have paid 50% of your tuition fees. So whilst it's acceptable for you to pay 6,000 for your offer to be progressed, you should be ready to pay the 2,005 upon your arrival at school just before you enroll and register for your course. The balance 50% can then be spread out to be paid in installments. And I always say to students, when you have settled at the university, you have started your lectures maybe a month into the course, and you are thinking of um, paying the rest of your fees in installments, that's the time to engage with the income team, find out what flexibilities are available. I'm aware that the second 50% can be broken down to be paid in 3 installments, but it's important you engage with them and fix a date as to when you should make that payment. They typically would like those payments made before the commencement of your second semester. But if you are looking for further flexibility, then it's important that you start off that engagement with them and arrive at how you intend to pay the rest of your fees, so that you won't be found wanting.
Okay, thank you, Chinelo. It was truly an informative section, detailed information and clarification. We appreciate your presence. Thank you so much. We look forward to sending in applications to University of Portsmouth. Chinelo, do you have any comments or remarks to share to our viewers?
Yes, so first of all, thank you for allowing me share some minutes out of your weekend. I Like I always say to students, it's a journey. I mean, it's a journey wanting to study in another country, another destination. So it can be a bit overwhelming. And so it's important that you have all your facts right. And if you have the opportunity to get these facts and assistance for free, then I don't know why you might want to hesitate in not getting this service. And so I'm saying to everyone who is interested in studying at the University of Portsmouth, it's important that you engage with trusted agents. I know there are lots of agents all over, but Student Connect is one agency that we work with, and therefore they have the information on how to apply for your course of study. Even if you want to do the research by yourself, you want to know what the course is about, that's fine. But it's important that you work with a trusted agency when you are applying for your visa, so that you don't have any issues, you don't get any visa refusals. So please make sure that you engage with Student Connect, get all the information you need, all the documentation you require for a successful visa application, because trust me, if you don't get it right the first time, it might be difficult for you to get it right the second time. So thank you all, and I hope you have a lovely weekend ahead.
Thank you all. Thank you to all our viewers. We look forward to start processing your application. Bye, everyone. Enjoy the rest
Yeah,
of your weekend.
have a lovely rest of the day. Bye.
Bye.
All right, bye guys. Thank you so much.
Right.
All
Thank you
right, bye.
too.
You're
Yeah, bye bye.
welcome.